Welcome to the Feline Perspective and part 2 of Starting from Scratch. This is Phyllis Meyer, and today I am here to talk about what you can do when your cat scratches where you don't want her to. In part 1, we talked about why cats scratch. We learned that cats scratch to maintain their claws, to stretch, to defend themselves, and to capture prey like mice. Scratching also is a way cats communicate with each other by leaving scent messages as they scratch. Scratching is a natural behavior, but what can owners do to keep their cats from destroying their new sofa? Let's get started. Sometimes, even after you have invested in several scratching posts, your cat will scratch somewhere you don't want her to. What is going on? Your cat may feel that neighborhood cats coming to the windows or doors present a threat to his territory. After all, he's not taking any chances. That outside cat may invade his place, eat his food, and steal his catnip mice. If you have more than one cat, maybe Fluffy and Fuzzy don't see eye to eye and each is establishing her territory. And finally, maybe your cat's just not sure what to do with these new scratchers. Why your cat scratches where you don't want her to. Let's start with the outside neighborhood cats. Say your cat starts scratching your sofa. You put your cat ears on and notice a big orange cat outside the picture window where your sofa sits. Some things you may consider. Maybe you could move a cat tree over by the window to give your cat a vantage point and a place to mark by scratching. Another thing to consider, can you move the sofa? Is there another place in the room it could go, away from that window where these other cats are visible? Can you keep your cat from seeing the intruder? Perhaps put some film over part of the window or install one of those motion-activated sprinklers in your yard to discourage the intruder. Strange outdoor cats may not be your only problem. If you suspect that you have cats that don't get along, watch for passive aggression between cats. This can be subtle. It often takes the form of cats staring at each other, or one cat sits in a doorway or hallway, just daring the other to pass. In this case, cats may be scratching to establish territories inside the home. Make sure that all cats can access litter boxes, food, water, and scratching posts. You may need to discourage the door blocker by calling her away or tossing a treat to move her, or opening the door wider to let both cats pass if you happen to be around. And finally, you may need to separate cats when you're not around to supervise. Let's say your cat is scratching your sofa. So you put a scratcher by the sofa, figuring she can use that instead. She does not use it. One thing we can do is to make the scratcher more appealing to your cat. If she likes catnip, sprinkle some catnip on the scratcher. If you happen to find her using the scratcher, reward her with a treat. Sometimes just putting treats at the top of the post or sprinkling them on a horizontal scratcher will sweeten the deal enough for your kitty. Another thing to try, if your cat likes to knead a fleece blanket with his paws, there may be some pheromones deposited on that blanket. It's certainly worth trying placing the blanket near the new scratching post and seeing if that attracts Kitty to it. Earlier, we found out that cats deposit smell messages when they scratch. These messages include pheromones. Some ingenious folks have figured out how to make synthetic versions of some of these pheromones. When your cat rubs his face against the walls or furniture, he deposits pheromones in these areas. This pheromone message tells your cat that these areas are safe. They are already marked, so there's no need to scratch here. Feel Away Classic and Comfort Zone Calming brands are commercially available in a spray or diffuser form. For a few years, there was a synthetic version of the pheromone released from your cat's paws when she scratches. It was called Feel a Scratch. It came in a liquid that you applied to the scratching post. It has been recently pulled off the market due to flagging sales. Previously, we could use Feel a Scratch on the scratching posts where you wanted the cat to scratch, and Feel Away Classic or Comfort Zone Calming on the places you didn't want your cat to scratch. This plan is no longer available to us. We can still use the Feel Away Classic or Comfort Zone Calming to discourage scratching, but we will have to figure out how to encourage our cat to use a scratching post instead of the sofa. Another way to discourage scratching is to use aversives, or things that cats don't like. Most cats will avoid areas covered by upside-down carpet runner. The spikes face up and are not comfortable to walk on. Place the upside-down runner where your cat may stand to scratch, say under the sofa that is getting scratched. Place a scratching post nearby on a comfortable surface. There is also double-sided sticky tape you can apply to areas that are being scratched. Sticky Paws is one of these products. Some folks have luck covering the area with aluminum foil. It is important to offer your cat an alternative that's more pleasant. Don't forget to place a scratcher close by. These things are worth a try, although you may find you need to keep them in place. Once you move the carpet runner, the aluminum foil, the scratching may start up again. Above all, please avoid using things like garlic and essential oils to discourage scratching. These can be toxic to cats. Here is a plan in action for a cat scratching the back of your new sofa. We will cover the back of the sofa with a throw that we spray with calming facial pheromones. To make it unpleasant to scratch the sofa back, we will place a carpet runner upside down so that the spikes are pointing up under that side of the sofa that's being scratched. Then we will offer something more pleasant to scratch. A scratching post that is not on a bed of nails. We will put some treats and catnip on the scratching post, and then we cross our fingers. Trimming your cat's claws is another way that can help manage scratching. It is easiest if you start trimming nails when your cat is a kitten. Reward your cat with something he likes when trimming nails. You will need to trim them every 4 to 6 weeks. When starting to trim your cat's claws, you may find it easier to trim a claw or two at a time and reward her immediately after. It may be easier to do the nail trim over a week at first. In this short video, Gus gets one of his paws trimmed while eating a favorite treat. I am using food as a distraction for the procedure. This is not as powerful as actually training your cat to tolerate nail trims. You have to keep the food coming to trim the nails. Most cats have an easily seen pink quick. The quick is the pink area outlined in purple. Avoid cutting the quick. You want to trim along the red line shown in this picture. Here I'm providing Gus with a treat that he likes. And during that time, while he's distracted eating, I will trim his nails. I have to keep the food coming to get the nail trim done. And of course, at the end of the trim, we finish up with more of a food reward. There are many techniques for trimming cats' nails. Each cat is an individual, and you may need to try several approaches before finding one that works. A video tutorial addressing nail trimming exclusively is in the works at the Feline Perspective. www.felineperspective.com. Another option to manage your cat scratching is the use of nail caps. These are soft plastic caps that are glued onto your cat's claws. There are several brands of nail caps that are commercially available. Soft Paws is one of the better known brands. Basically, what you have to do is to tip the cat's claws. You need enough of the claw left to glue the cap onto it. So you just want to take the tip off. With the caps on, the nails are blunted and don't damage furniture or carpet. I like to use Soft Paws as a training tool. So use Soft Paws while you're training your cat to scratch where you want him to. Soft Paws are effective, but can present some problems with application. There is the ever-present risk of gluing your fingers together. They have to be reapplied every 4 to 6 weeks, and are not always shed as the nail grows out. Sometimes you have to cut the plastic off to put on the new caps. And finally, some cats just won't put up with them. I had a cat who would try and chew the caps off shortly after they were put on. He wasn't successful, but I have known cats who were. No talk on managing cat scratching would be complete without some reference to declawing. Declawing is illegal in many places in the world now. It entails removing the last bone of the cat's toe. It is a surgical procedure that requires anesthesia and pain management. It would be like cutting off our fingers at that first knuckle joint. As time goes on after the surgery, the tendons in the cat's foot contract, and the cat's weight is borne on the end of the second bone in the toe, which can be painful. There is a risk of behavior problems and lameness, possibly due to pain at the end of the joints due to nerve damage. Declawing is becoming less popular in the United States. So be a cat whisperer. If you don't talk to your cat about scratching, who will? We have talked about when and why cats scratch. Your cat may scratch you when playing or when you handle her. So remember, your hands and feet are not cat toys. Watch your cat's body language when you handle her. Give her an opportunity to agree to handling, grooming, or petting. Scratching is also a way for cats to communicate with each other. They deposit scents and scratch marks on scratchers to let other cats know who has been at the scratcher and when they were there. Have a variety of scratchers in the house or apartment, near the doors, the windows, and where your cat sleeps. Have a scratching problem? Because scratching is part of feline communication, pay attention to the whereabouts of outdoor neighborhood cats and whether there is some infighting between household cats. The first step of a claw training program is to place a scratcher where your cat is scratching. Try synthetic pheromones to direct the scratching. Spray the places you don't want scratched with facial pheromone spray such as Feel Away Classic or Comfort Zone Calming. Try and make using the scratcher fun. Reward your cat with treats or catnip. You can also make use of aversives, or things that cats don't like. This can be part of a claw training program. Be aware the scratching could start up when these are moved unless you've given your cat an acceptable alternative. It is worth training your cat to have his nails trimmed. Not only will he not prick you so much, it can be rewarding and fun to work with him. Nail caps are another option to control damage due to scratching. They can be particularly useful as you train your cat to use the appropriate scratchers. Thank you for watching this program. Every week there's more information about cats at www.felineperspective.com. Be sure to visit us there on the web and also at the Feline Perspective on Facebook. Give us a tweet at tperspective on Twitter. If you have found this program useful, consider supporting the Feline Perspective at patreon.com/felineperspective. If you are already a patron, thanks for your support. Have a perfectly wonderful day and hope to see you soon.